Alright guys, so we have a washer. It's a Whirlpool direct drive. Excellent machine, by the way. And we are having an issue. Washer is not washing or spinning. And you heard that noise. That noise is basically the coupling is broken. So the motor and transmission are no longer connected. So it makes that weird noise. So you see how I removed the console, and we're going to be taking the motor off. The motor has 2 clips and of course 2 screws. I did not show the screws, 1/4-inch screws. Remove the screws first and then take the clips off. It's easier to take the bottom and then push the top up. A little bit easier, and make sure you don't crunch your hand under the motor. Those clips, you have to rotate them and pull them out. And the coupling, you will see it shortly, how it is broken. I did not show how I put it on. Pretty much it's, you just put them on and tap them on. But I do have a video on doing it, but I did not show it directly in this video. You can see. Now, what caused those to break? Wear and tear, but mostly when customers overload their washer. That's really the reason. Or if you have a break on the washer that is stopping really suddenly and it snaps them. It does happen. So these couplings, these are the metal insert, and you have to make sure you actually tap them on really well. Otherwise they will be a little bit difficult, and sometimes when you install the motor back, it might not sit flush. So if that's the case, you don't want to force it. Just give it some time, take it back off, and reposition the coupling onto the shaft. You might have to tap it onto the transmission and also the motor. I did show a couple times I had to readjust because the plastic ones are normally a lot easier to work with. The metal insert, by the way, to me, I've seen more failure rates in those versus the OEM, but they don't make the OEM anymore per se. They all have the metal insert, so you're kind of stuck. But if you do use the metal ones, just make sure you tap them all the way down till it's nice and flush. Now the clips to hold the motor on, if they are tight, then if the motor is tight while you're trying to put it on, then you need to reinstall or tap the couplings down on each side more, because then it's still tight. So I had to redo this one. I took it off again and had to re-tap it on
its own. Make sure everything is good. Sometimes those rubbers, they move around.
And a 15 millimeter socket is perfect for tapping it on. You want to tap on the outside. You don't want to hit the plastic section on it. And when you tap the motor section, meaning the coupling on the motor, make sure you put the motor on a piece of wood, the other end, the shaft of the motor. Do not just hit the motor while it's not supported. You could damage the motor. Also, another quick tip, you should be able to rotate the other shaft of the motor with your fingers. So when everything is nice and snug but not too tight, you should be able to rotate that motor. If you can't rotate the shaft on the motor, it is too tight, take it back off, readjust those coupling. Again, I think this was tight. I left this in just to show you that if it does happen, don't lose heart, pull it back off. All right, here we are tapping it again. Those metal ones are very stubborn. Excellent machine, by the way. I definitely encourage customers to keep their machines. Don't get rid of them. Seeing less and less of these machines in the field, and it sucks. All right, you see how that goes on? A lot smoother, and it's pretty flush. Now you can see I can rotate it, as you see underneath. I was able to turn the coupling with my fingers, and I was able to rotate it, which is what you want to do. So always check that. Make sure it is nice and smooth. If not, it's gonna burn, it's gonna smell, and you're gonna smell burning rubber.
Absolutely.
Now,
Yeah.
you can see it's moving. Yep. Back and forth. Excellent. See that? Nice.
I'll wrap up here shortly.
All right, so we're gonna put the wire back on, connect the motor. Already got the clips on. Always double check, make sure your rotation is nice and smooth. You don't want any binding. And I'm gonna put the pump on. Now I put the pump on, I only had one hand here, but you can reach under, rotate the coupling, and it will fall right into place. Watch this. Beautiful. And don't forget your screws on top. There's a 2/4 inch screws, and it's easier to do it with the motor, with the water, with the drain pump, off, which you can still do it with the drain pump on, but it's definitely easier if you put those screws in first. See those pins, guys, those pins on each side? In fact, you have 4. Check yours, make sure they're sticking up straight. A lot of guys don't know about those, but those are what actually keep the body of the washer tight and intact. So they actually are inserted into the body of the machine and keeps the body or the console nice and snug. That one was bent all the way down. Get a flathead screwdriver and straighten it up. Now we're going to put the body on. Oh, yeah. Almost forgot those screws. There you go. Boom. Now the console, when you go to put it on, make sure you tilt. You want to basically bring the back, tilt it forward. Here you go, just like that. And you want to insert towards your toes, insert that section first, and slowly tip it down. Excuse me. Don't forget your lid switch. Now you want to make sure all your lines, especially on the back, the back of the washer, make sure it's nice and lined up before you insert that clip. Now make sure the clip goes in nicely. Now see that pressure tube? Yeah, make sure that is nice and moving. If it's kinked, you will have an overflow condition. So always check that. Very, very important. And again, everything looks good. Plug that in. Nice. And then all you got to do is 2 Phillips screws, secure your console, and we're going to test this thing. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks for watching.